Hello everyone and welcome to the How Good Is. Today we're going to go a little bit more in depth than I usually do with these review videos for Ultimate Madoka-Senpai, but before we can go in depth, let's do a quick rundown of everything about this unit, because this unit might be one of the most important units that's ever been released, probably at least so far the most important unit for what it means for the meta. That doesn't mean that you should already just stop the video and go out and roll for this character, because it's not quite that simple. You can't just blindly roll for this character, but let's go into the details later. Starting out though, it's 2 Exiles, 2 Charge Discs, which is actually pretty good disc set wise for this kind of character. We see type is Ultimate question mark. The actual I've done some testing and other people have done some testing myself, and yeah, I have gotten this character but only in 1 slot to do some testing, because I don't have a charge team. I actually don't have any charge character at all. My entire account is free of charge characters. Amazing. Anyway, so I've done some testing, other people have done some testing. It's more closely to resembles Exceed type, so the attacking, getting attacked percentage is about 100% exactly, and the attacking percentage for yourself is either 90 or 100. I've seen different people say different things. I think it's 90 because it means it's just Exceed, and there is actually no type that has 100 and 100. So I think it's just Exceed type, and they just call it this. It would actually also make sense lore-wise, if you say that lore-wise Exceed is supposed to be a character that goes above and beyond and breaks their own limits. That would make sense with Ultimate Madoka-Senpai, because she's basically the regular Madoka-Senpai in a cyber magic suit that gives her superpowers. Kind of like Iron Man. She's basically Iron Man, okay? Which would make sense with the XC type. Anyway, the only thing that really matters with the type, it does actually kind of matter a little bit with this character. Usually types don't really matter that much with most characters. With this one it kind of does, because first off, with attacking yourself, it means you're not generating as much as MP as you could, as some other characters would, that are either Magi or support type. And secondly, when you're getting attacked, you could also be maybe generating a bit more MP with other characters. And with Ultimate Madoka-Senpai, it's rather important to both generate MP while attacking and also getting attacked. One of very few units where that actually matters. More on that later. The stats are pretty average across the board, with noticeably quite decently high attack, which is quite alright, but defense is pretty decent as well as HP is also pretty decent, so not quite tank levels at all anywhere. So I have heard some people say, oh, she dies fast. Well, yeah, she's not a tank, but that said, she's not particularly squishy in that sense. It's more so that this is a character that you actually kind of want to get attacked, and we'll get over that later, but she kind of wants to get attacked to get fast Magia. And when you want to get attacked, of course, it might feel like sometimes your character dies a little bit too fast. But that said, her stats are totally fine. She doesn't have bad stats at all. Defensively, she still has decent defensive stats. Keep in mind that a lot of that comes from the Spirit Enhancement. Like, Spirit Enhancement is about 4,000 defense and about 6,000 HP, so yeah, a lot of that comes from Spirit Enhancement. And like I said as well, the attack is pretty darn good as well, so yeah, pretty good attack. The EX skill, we're gonna skip that for now. We're gonna go to the Connect as usual. It gives damage up 40%, charge attack damage up 30%, and charge discharge up 40%. Those numbers are kind of fucking crazy. And also, keep in mind that what you're gonna be doing with this character is you're gonna be playing them on a charge team. So you're gonna have her, when you connect with another character, you're either going to use charge discs, and when you use the charge disc, you get 80% damage bonus in total, because you get 40 and another 40. So when you connect another character and they use charges, 80% damage bonus. If they use either an Excel or a Blast Disc while having charges, which you probably want to, since you're doing a charge team, you're probably also going to be using up charges at some point, maybe even conserve charges. And when they do that, they get a total of 70% damage bonus with this 40% and this 30%. So yeah, you're either going to get 70 or 80% damage bonus with this Connect, which is also kind of fucking crazy how high these numbers are. These numbers did not have to be this high. They are this high anyway, and it's actually also really good that it's damage up. Why? Because she can stack attack up. So you have both attack up and the damage up, getting both caps. Amazing. And you get a third cap as well, but let's not go there too quickly. Moving on to the Magia, it damages all enemies, has charge conservation to all allies for 2 turns. Ooh, charge conservation to all allies. I'm gonna dedicate like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes just to talk about this, so let's skip it for now. Light attribute attack up all allies for 40%. Pretty good. Also removes debuffs from all allies, which is doesn't really matter too much. But yeah, it gives light attribute attack up. You're probably gonna play her together with either Sister Momoko or with Mitsune. They're both light type. and you're going to buff their attack with that. And because it's not regular attack up, it goes into a different pot, or rather a different cap. So there's regular attack up, there's elemental attack up. You can get a regular attack up to 100%, and you can get elemental attack up to 100% for a combined total of plus 200% attack up, because they stack additively. And because there's so many sources of attack up, it's really good to have someone who can stack really high elemental attack up. So here's really high elemental attack up, and the doppel also gives regular attack up. So this character alone can cap attack up and light attribute attack up by themselves by just spamming Magia 2s, which is doppel. And they also give a crap ton of damage up, so you can also get a crap ton of damage up. So this character is actually fucking insane for supporting. Absolutely insane for supporting, just because of attack up and elemental attack up and damage ups, and like all of these caps are getting filled just from this character. Fucking crazy. And then they have an EX skill. I say they because usually EX skills are on duo characters for some reason. Anyway, and then you have an EX skill. Actually, just Iriachi. And what it does is it gives to all allies charge attack damage up. I'm going to go for by the foresight effect 15% and charge damage up 15%. So even more damage up into that cap just passively on everyone. Fucking great. Amazing. You're going to get to almost 100% damage up bonus if you connect to someone, just with the connect and nothing else. Amazing. So already, if it was just this, like even if you don't have a charge conservation, like even if you remove that, still a pretty decent, pretty good support, pretty awesome support so far, but nothing game breaking. It's the charge conservation that's game breaking. But moving on, let's ignore that for now and go to the Spirit Enhancement. Let's talk about the Spirit Enhancement for a little bit. And by the way, you might have already noticed that, hey, at the Spirit Enhancement, haven't even talked about the personal. She doesn't have a personal. No Manga Report character has a personal, and she's no exception. So yeah, Manga Report characters just don't have personals. Moving on though, she doesn't really need one, to be honest. She doesn't need a personal, to be honest, because there's plenty of good Memorial that you can put on her. Moving on though, on there, she gets some damage cut, which is good because, like I said, she wants to get attacked. Why does she want to get attacked? Well, we're going to skip down here. MP up when attacked by weak element, 15. It says percent for some reason, but it's 15. So if you get attacked by a dark elemental attack, you get like 19 MP or something just by itself. Because type get attacked, 100% modifier. What this basically means is, as it says down here, if you get attacked in a quest, you just normally get 4 MP, which is then multiplied by this modifier on the right. They have a 100% modifier, so it just doesn't move, it's just still 4 MP. But they get a bonus of 15 MP from weak element. I keep saying they because I feel like it's kind of like a dual character, which is both Madoka-Senpai and the Iron Man suit, basically. But whatever. So you get 19 MP, and if you had a regular MP up, regular MP ups would still work on this. Usually you don't really care too much about MP ups when it comes to getting attacked, because it's only 4 MP. Even if you had 50% MP up, like not Excel up, just flat MP up. Even if you had 50%, that would just put it from 4 to 6, which is basically nothing. But now you get 19 with this bonus, and if you have 19 and you get a little bit of MP up, you actually do notice that. So do keep that in mind, that regular standard MP ups actually kind of can make a difference on this character, and you kind of do want that. Also, as it says right here in Mirrors, you get 2 bonus MP when you get hit, which is great. Which also we'll get to later, because oh my god, there's so much stuff to talk about. This review is gonna be like half an hour. What else do we have? Start the battle on 20% MP gauge full, because why the fuck not? This character is basically broken as soon as you reach Magia. Let's go get Magia even faster than we originally even thought we could. So yeah, if you have Doppel unlocked, this starts you the battle with 30 MP. So you start the battle with 30 MP if you have Doppel unlocked. Great. Or just Magia level 5. Awesome. 25% status ailment resistance, because the only thing that can stop this madness is status ailments, and guess what? We have resistance against those as well, because why not? What else do we have? Charge count up +2, only +2. I would have expected a +5 with the character this broken, but yeah, it's only +2, sorry guys. What else do we have? Anti-Magia Seal, because the only thing that can stop an overpowered Magia is Magia Seal. Guess what? You're immune to that. Amazing. Not much that can even stop this character, to be honest, because we're immune to Magia Steel, we have 25% status ailment resistance. If you put like Gacha Memorial on there, which is 25% attack up and like 25% status ailment resistance, or 35% status ailment resistance, like a lot of resistance, then you have like over 50% resistance. Okay, you can't stop this character anymore. You also have some Magia damage up, doesn't really matter much, but also some XMP gain up. The XMP gain up is actually kind of important, because once again, you want to get this character to Magia as fast as possible and keep getting to Magia, so every single piece of bonus that helps you is amazing. The active, that said, is not actually that amazing. Like, the active is probably the worst part about this entire character. It's 5% charge attack received damage up. These fucking names. Charge defense down, let's just call it that, on the enemy 5%. 5% is fucking nothing. That's absolutely nothing. It lasts for 3 turns, sure, but still, it's only 5%. What? Even if every single hit in those 3 turns is a charged attack, because you have a charge conservation up, even then, it's not that big of a difference, right? At least it gives defense down as well, 25%. 25% is a little bit more, right? It's quite alright. But that said, defense is also not really that important anywhere outside of maybe mirrors. So also not really that important, to be honest. So the active, not that amazing, but I guess not everything about this character can be broken. Okay, now that we've talked about all of that, I'm going to do a little quick detour. But don't worry, we will be back and talk about the Gacha Memorial as well, Ultimate vs Supreme. So in case you wondered how good this gacha is, this Memorial is fucking insane too. Why? It gives, first off, 20% damage up at MLB. I mean, there's other Memorial that give like 25, maybe even 30% at MLB, so we're missing like 5 to 10% damage ups. How can we get those 5 to 10% damage ups? How about 20% blast damage ups? Okay, so we're back up to 40% already. How about another 12.5% charge damage up? Okay, that's pretty good. So we're looking at a total of 52.5% damage up if it's a charge blast. If you're using a charge blast, this one gives a 52.5% damage up. Yeah, that's pretty good. I think that's pretty good. Just to remind you guys, I don't have it open, but I'm going to open it on my second monitor and pull it over. If you have Special Seed right here, Special Seed gives 40% blast damage up, and this used to be the best blast damage up Memoria in the game at 40%. 40%. This one gives 52.5% on a charge blast. That's pretty good. And even if it's not a charge blast, it still gives 40% to a blast. It just gives 20% to other stuff as well. So yeah, also pretty darn good. And you know what's also pretty good is if you don't get this MLB and you only have it like at like 0 slots or even up to 3 slots, but you don't have it at MLB, guess what? It doesn't actually scale that hard. The scaling is very minimal, meaning that even if you have just 1 copy of this, you already have 45% damage bonus on charged blasts. If it's a non-charged blast, still 35% damage bonus. If it's a regular charged attack that isn't like a charged Excel, I guess, it would be 25%. And if it's none of those, it's still 15%. So yeah, it's pretty darn good, right? If you do get an MLB, it actually has a little bit more attack than average, which is also pretty nice. So yeah, pretty darn good Memoria and a 1-slot wonder. Amazing. So this gacha looks amazing. So now we've talked about all of the surrounding stuff. Let's talk strategy. So let's say, for example, you have pulled this character and you're wondering to yourself, how do you play this? What do you actually do once you have this character? How do you play this amazing character? And more importantly, what is it that actually makes her amazing? If you still haven't figured that out yet, it's all in the charge conservation down here. It's all in here. All the other stuff I've talked about, that's just set dressing. That's just the cherries on top. There's a lot of cherries on top on this one. But the charge conservation right here. So charge conservation is when, of course, you have charge points loaded up. Let's say, for example, you have 5 charge points. You use either an Excel or a blast disc. Usually those charge points get used up. With charge conservation, they stick around until that character loses charge conservation. So far, there's only been 2 characters that have that. It's Mitsune, it's Sister Momoko. Both of them give it on their connect, and both of them get it as their active. Sister Momoko also gets it to herself on her doppel, but as you can tell, all of these characters either give it to themselves for 1 turn or to another character on a connect for 1 turn. And if you wanted to do a lot of damage, what you would do is you would have like either Sister Momoko or Mitsune together with another charge character. Let's say, for example, Riko. It's probably the best example because most people that have Riko would use Riko for this because it's probably the best charge support in the game. But Tsukuyo also works Momoko. Basically, any good charge use character that has like a lot of charge count up plus bonus, like this one right here, because you want to get a lot of charges fast. You just play them together with that other character, and you get some charges, then you either connect into, for example, Sister Momoko and have her activate the active and use some blast, like 3 blasts with like plus 10 charges, does a lot of damage. Then next turn you could connect back onto the other character and keep blasting some more and keep retaining your charges while even building some more charges. Awesome. You could do the same with Mitsune, and you can sort of like try and bounce around, trying to keep your charge combo going without dropping your charges, repeatedly trying to spam out those charge conservations to keep spamming out damage. If you have Sister Momoko, you would try to get her to double with like a single Excel disc. Because if you have like 20 charges, an Excel disc is like triply as effective as usual. And if if you have it on a character that has a decent Excel or MP bonus, both even, then a single Excel disc on slot 3, because Excel is just like Blasters, actually gets stronger the later they are in the combo, by the way, which you can also look up here. So a third Excel disc, if the first was an Excel disc, is like 17. If it's just the third disc without the first one being an Excel disc, it's 14, which is still pretty good. Which is times 3, multiplied by times 3, and then it's also Excel bonuses, it's MP bonuses, a whole bunch of other stuff that gets in there. But it is possible to reach Magia and even double on a character with just a single Excel, which is kind of crazy. And then if you had Sister Momoko, you would use her double. She gives herself charge conservation for multiple turns, and then you would try to get as many discs of her as possible, trying to blast down, trying to get another Excel for another double, and just keep that going. And that was extremely powerful. That was the best strategy in Kimochi. That is the best strategy for getting fast clears in 100 Evils. And if you're just playing casual stuff, if you do just casually doing EX 100 Evils, the game would feel really easy. It would feel like easy mode, because there's not really anything the game can throw at you that survives longer than half a turn, right? So what does Madoka-Senpai have to do with all of this? Basically, the only thing that can stop any of those strategies that I've just mentioned is if you have bad luck. Let's say, for example, you have some really bad luck and you just don't draw charge discs when you don't have a charge conservation ready. Like, you don't have a connect ready from Sister Momoko, you don't have her active ready, and you don't draw charge discs. You have no Magia ready, you have no double ready. It can happen sometimes. Also, if you try to maximize damage, you might try to get very specific discs without dropping the charge conservation combo. Because sometimes you can keep a charge conservation combo going, but you have to sacrifice some damage to do that. That also sucks kind of, because you want to do maximum damage, right? So this is why people reset a lot during 100 Evils. So you can get screwed over sometimes, and it's not nice, and sometimes you need to drop some DPS. It's all very much not that nice. But, and here's the thing, if everyone has charge conservation, suddenly that all doesn't matter anymore. Suddenly you can just do whatever the fuck you want. You're gonna keep your charges, you're gonna keep building up Magias and doubles in a single Excel list, you're gonna keep blasting forever. And because when you have charge conservation and you have a lot of charges, you can just use one Excel disc of Madoka-Senpai. Either you draw one and she has 2 of them, or you give her one with a connect, which probably is you're gonna be able to do that in 2 turns, at least once, right? Or she gets attacked in that time and gets so much MP up when attacked by weak element because she gets attacked by dark type. You're gonna get right back to Magia, you're gonna get right back to double even, and then just keep it going, and you can keep that chain going. So here's the general game plan, what you would do with a team that, for example, you have Madoka-Senpai and next to that you have Sister Momoko, just as an example. So or just in general, just if you have any strategy with Madoka-Senpai, you would try to get 2 things. First off, you want Magia. You want Magia and Madoka-Senpai, because if you don't have Magia and Madoka-Senpai, you can't start the charge conservation, right? Secondly, you actually need charges. If you get to her Magia immediately, but you don't have any charges, don't use it. This is probably one of the biggest mistakes that a lot of people will probably make, is when they get to her Magia, they'll just use it immediately, even if they don't have any charges, and that's pointless. So what you would do is, for example, let's say you don't have Sister Momoko, let's say you have a regular Momoko who doesn't have charge conservation, and you would probably start out first by trying to get Madoka-Senpai to Magia. And once she's at Magia, what you would do then is you would build up charges. So you get her to Magia first, maybe you can do that in 1 turn. Turn 2, you build up charges. Maybe you have a character that can even do charge draw, and then you can do a charge draw and get a whole bunch of charges in there, so you get to like +9, +10 or whatever charges immediately. And then on turn 3, you can start going with Magias. and keep those charges going, keep the Excels going. And what you would do is at that point, after you have all of that built up, is you would just try to get at least a single Excel disc either on slot 2 or slot 3, maybe even connected into from another character on a really late slot like slot 2 or slot 3, best of slot 3 of course, to keep the Magia up. And then once the charge conservation runs out, you use another Magia and you start that all over. And the amazing part is you only need one Magia from her, like in those 2 turns, you're going to use one Magia from her, you're going to use one Excel disc on her, and then you have 4 discs that could either be someone else's Excel disc to get them to double, could be someone else's blast discs to blast for ridiculous amounts of damage, and you can just keep chaining that over and over and over. And this is what makes this strategy so powerful, is because you just don't drop that combo, right? You just don't drop that combo. You just only need a single character to connect an Excel disc into Madoka-Senpai, or just draw one of her Excel discs. Or if you get really lucky and there's dark type enemies, maybe the dark type enemies just attack into her and just give her Doppler Magia that way. That can also happen. So there's a lot of different ways that you can keep that chain going, and while the chain is going, it's impossible to break out of it really, and you're just gonna keep bursting for insane fucking damage. Not to mention, of course, she has passive damage ups for all your allies when you're doing a charge strategy. You have, well, okay, the active. You have the connect, which is insane for charge up. You're also stacking during all of that attack cups and light attribute attack cups, which is fucking insane. So while the combo is going, you're also supercharged with buffs and everything. How crazy is that? Now, if you have Sister Momoko or Mitsune, either of those 2 characters, the strategy becomes even better, because guess what? Guess what you can do? First off, you don't need to use the Magia every 2 turns. You can now, like, drop her Magia for, like, after charge conservation is run out for, like, 1 or 2 turns, if you have charge conservations from Mitsune or Momoko. So you can go for even more damage by letting the buffs maybe drop sometimes. And also, when you're trying to build up to both the Magia and the charges that I said earlier, you need both Magia and charges before you actually start the chain. If you have characters with charge conservation, you can do both of that at once. You can both start charging up your charge points while charging up her Magia, her MP. So yeah, you can do all of that at the same time as well, which makes it even faster. Maybe you can already start the chain on turn 2. Sure, why not? So all of that combined is fucking absurd. Holy shit, that's actually kind of fucking absurd. And that is why everyone has been saying this is kind of a game changer, because now you have this amazing chain that, while it lasts, is so incredibly goddamn fucking powerful that you just win. That you just fucking win everything forever. Now, some people might have said, okay, but what about, this is all fine about Kimochi, 100 Evils, EX, everything in PvE. So PvE is fine, but what about mirrors, right? She doesn't do much in mirrors, right? Because we know that Mitsune is not really relevant in mirrors, Sister Momoko not really relevant in mirrors, because you don't really do, like, maximum DPS strategies. Like, you don't care about maximum DPS in mirrors, you care about maximum points, right? You want points more so than damage. So that's why Sister Momoko and Mitsune are not really that important in mirrors. I mean, sometimes you play them and yeah, it's not really part of the meta. But what Madoka-Senpai actually has some use. She's not like highest tier, mainstay, part of the best teams in the world. She's not going to be like that. But she is going to be used by some people who play really high ranked mirrors, right? She actually has some viability in high ranked mirrors that Mitsune and Sister Momoko don't have. Most notably, because she starts the battle with 30 MP and on top of that gets bonus MP when attacked by weak element, you could play her against a team that has a lot of dark types on it. And you would have, for example, a Vampire's Kanagi, or even better, you would have a Valentine's Nagisa on that team, and you have a Sudachi on the team. On turn 1, Sudachi uses her active, tanks some hits. Then on turn 2, if the enemies are all dark type, and you have the team that I just described, there's only one light type on your team, and that's where Madoka-Senpai. And if you have Valentine's Nagisa could use her turn 2 actives, because that's what Valentine's Nagisa does, turn 2 actives, use Meteor Rain, use Negotiator on the enemy team, which basically means that Madoka-Senpai is basically not going to take that much damage, because the enemy with that many debuffs probably isn't going to do that much damage to your ultimate Madoka-Senpai, depending how strong they are. I mean, it's still possible, but it's rather likely that Madoka-Senpai survives all 3 of those hits, and if she just survives all 3 of those hits, with this bonus right here and MP start, with some MP bonus memorials, maybe some Kasumi Memorial on there, you will just get to almost double. Someone tested it, they got to like 147 MP without using a single disc. This is the important part. On turn 3, like when their turn 3 started, they were on 147 MP with Ultimate Madoka-Senpai without using a single one of her discs. If there was just a single Excelus, even a single charge disc in there, in those 2 turns, she would have been at double on turn 3 with just a single disc. Kind of fucking crazy, right? Kind of fucking crazy. So some people are gonna play maybe some strategies like that where they try to coax out a double from her by abusing the weak element hit. But that said, she still might die depending on what enemies you have. There might still be some things that go wrong, but it's still a viable strategy. Some people might play that. So yeah, she still has some viability in mirrors too. So she has viability in mirrors, and she has this new incredibly powerful broken playstyle in PvE that will probably dominate both the 100 Evils fast clear meta as well as the Kimochi meta for maybe years to come. We don't fucking know. What are the drawbacks of this? Well, as I said at the beginning of this, don't just drop for it blindly. Why? Because you actually need charge characters. Yeah, you actually need charge characters. If you don't have a charge character right now, I mean, you could still pull for her, but if you do that, you basically have to pull for a charge character at some point in the future, because what does she actually do if you don't have charges? You need to actually get charges so you can do charge conservation stuff. Like if you get her with, if you have like only like 5 charges when you use her Magia, it's going to be hard to get to Magia again while also keeping up the charge building, and she kind of drops off quite a lot. So yeah, you need charge characters, especially characters that have charge conservation, so you can build up easier and have more leeway later as well. So the caveat is you have to really commit to the charge playstyle with good charge characters. But if you can do that, this is actually kind of fucking broken. This is actually kind of really broken. So yeah, that was my review on Ultimate Madoka-Senpai. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, and I'll see you guys next time.